Hello, Mo's, another indie game review video here for the Sanitarium.FM. Slightly different one this time. This is a first look, and the game we're covering is called Dawn of Andromeda, which is a 4X strategy game developed by Grey Wolf Entertainment, published by Iceberg Interactive. This is a game that is in early access and costs around £19 on the UK Steam Store and around $25 in the Steam Store if you're in the US. The game, as I said before, is a 4X strategy game, a space-faring game similar in style to Endless Space. You can pick one of many factions who have their own little traits, their advantages, their sort of level features which give advantages and disadvantages or don't really give much of a boost or whatever. And then they'll also have their own disadvantages, like one of the common ones that is shared between at least two races that I can recall off the top of my head is that they are xenophobic, which means that their relations with other alien races or other factions you could play as, they're not quite so good, and it affects your relationship with them. The benefits come in such shapes as consuming less food with your population, or being better at building ships, or things like that, you know? Being a Space 4X, so this does mean that there's a lot of things to keep track of, and fortunately the game does come with a sort of tutorial. The first time you click on something, it will give you a sort of lowdown which will contain usually just one page, but sometimes around 3 pages is the average, telling you basically what this tab is, how it affects things, what decisions you can make here. Like, for example, the first time you click on your first colony, you will be given a tutorial on how to build ships. Well, not how to build ships, but basically what the shipbuilding yard is for. Other things you can get tutorials for are the diplomatic tab, which you will have 2 tabs in there, one for factions and one for individual characters that you meet, because as well as meeting the other factions in the game when you come across them for the first time, you'll also meet individual characters which can be outlaws or have a bounty on them. Mercenaries you can hire, travelling other aliens which you can also hire to get into your council on your home planet, and so on and so forth. As mentioned previously, this is a first look at the game, and I spent around about an hour and a half in my first session having a go at this game and kind of getting used to controls. Now, the way that you steer things, especially with your ships, you use an awful lot of right clicking to tell them where you want to go. Usually you will be directing your ships to right click to jump between systems and then checking out the planets. A big part of this game is to find planets that are colonizable, that have certain resources, making your colony ships, sending them across and having things colonized. Now, you can actually have this gameplay at say 2 different speeds. I usually have it set at the normal speed, but you can have it go a little bit faster, and fortunately you can also pause it if you need to do so. Every now and then you will have little announcements pop up, and I usually like to pause the game so I can actually click on those and read all the details while not having the game going on in the background, because sometimes if you're reading things or getting other things done, other things will happen in the background and you need to kind of respond to those. For example, you are being attacked by a space anomaly, which is a kind of big space-going alien thing. At least that's my understanding of it. Obviously, as a 4X, a strategy game, you know, this is real time, and you also have to make diplomatic decisions. As I've mentioned before, you will come across other characters and other factions in this game, and, well, think of this a bit like Civilization 5. You can go in, you can declare them friends, you can praise them, you can insult them, you can declare war on them. However, in this game, if they haven't done something to provoke the war and you declare war, you will actually gain a warmonger trait, which will kind of make the other factions and characters kind of distrust you a little bit. Some of the things will happen if you make an agreement with another faction or a character and then you go back and break it. You will get the dishonest trait, which doesn't exactly stand you well in diplomatic agreements and other talks, and other people will kind of distrust you a little bit more. Your diplomacy and relations with them will go down as a result, so be careful what you do. You can also complete research as you go along in the game. Some of them are military, obviously, some of them are social, and basically there's a lot to research, and it is your simple tech tree. You research one thing, it'll take a few months or maybe over a year, and as soon as you've done that, there'll be options beyond that to research. It's completely up to you which way you develop. It's completely up to you which way you choose to win the game as well. You can choose to ally with or destroy all the other factions. You can choose to seek out the parts of this mythical artifact which is apparently hidden around Andromeda. You can choose to get as much in your treasury as you want. It doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, it kinda is. And you know, there's many ways to win this game. Again, it's a bit like Civilization, and there's many different types of victories you can get, and which way you go completely depends up to you, and also kind of depends a little bit on the race you choose, because some of them are better at certain victories than others because of their certain traits. And talking about certain traits, again, mentioning the council, you can actually appoint a council of around about 5 of the choices you have to help govern your planets, and you can actually appoint governors from the ones that you don't choose for the council. Now, each one of these, again, they have their own little personality quirks. Some of them pacifist, some of them like the military and like being at war, some of them will be popular, some of them are not so popular, some are loyal and some are disloyal, and so on and so forth. Now the ones you choose, completely up to you, but it will have an effect on the people in your colonies, especially if you're appointing an unpopular governor to a colony, and also it will also have a little bit of an effect on your diplomatic relationships with other factions, because if you have a council member who is xenophobic, then the other factions are not really going to like that so much. So again, these are all things you need to consider when you're playing this game. Little things to look at, little bits to micromanage, although the council thing does actually take out a little bit of the micromanaging on the colony side of things in this game. My impressions so far on this game are that it is one of those ones that could go on for a while, just like any sort of 4X strategy game really. It takes a little while to learn, obviously. This is a game with a lot of things to have a look at and manage, and I'm not entirely sure if I've managed to get the hang of everything quite yet, but in time I'm pretty damn sure it will come second nature to me. Again, I will mention Civilization. At first I wasn't great at that game, but now I know how to play it, and it's all second nature to me. So the more you play this game, the better you will get at it, I would think. And yeah, you're gonna go into this game, you're probably going to develop strategies and get a favourite race over time. This is one of those games that you could stick with for quite a while if you really are into real-time strategy and 4X and all those kinds of genres. Obviously, I'm not going to give a full review impression of this game quite yet. This is just a first look. I'll probably be revisiting it a little bit later, and I'll give you a proper review and a proper opinion on it then. So far, I like it. A little bit slow, but as I say, you can speed time up and you can pause things, which is very good for this sort of game, because sometimes you need to pause and just kind of take stock of everything and give orders and get everything back under control, because this is a game where you need to control quite a lot of things. So having the pause button and being able to take control of all those things and assign orders, that's a good thing. That's an advantage of this game. One other thing that this game does have to an advantage is you can actually assign hotkeys to certain fleets or ships, which is actually a pretty damn good way of hopping between systems. If your colonies are many systems apart and you have one little guard ship by each of them, you know, as long as you move your camera to each one of those particular ships using the hotkeys, then you can actually skip between your colonies pretty damn fast, although you can also click on one particular colony and then skip to previous or next colony from the actual colony map. But as I say, if you want to have a look at the system, that's a pretty good way of doing it. There is of course a lot more to this game than I have covered here, because as I said, this is a 4X strategy game, and it's a lot like Civ, it's a lot like Endless Space. There's a lot of content in this game. It's gonna last you for ages. It's gonna be well worth the money you spend on it from initial appearances. So, you know, if this is your genre, then this is probably one to look at. But as I say, I will do a proper, more thorough review when I have spent a little bit more time with this game. Until then, I have been the Predicted Cyborg, doing an indie game review video, a first look at Dawn of Andromeda. Remember, stay tuned to the Studio channel for more news reviews and more of the same. Find us on our website at www.Sanitarium.FM for the radio shows and the articles, and come join us in the Discord, come have a chat, we're lovely people. But yes, once again, I'm the Predicted Cyborg, and I'll see you for the next one.